Welcome, collegiate readers. As you know, this evening was the last event in Frost Arena, besides wrestling this Friday. I think it was a fun-filled year in terms of events. Some particular highlights for me, I think we'll start off with volleyball. I think when they beat NDSU, that was a big win because NDSU was much more skilled and talented than they are.
Made the NCAA tournament.
They made the NCAA tournament. So that's a highlight for them, for volleyball in particular. Moving on, to basketball. When you think about women's basketball, now they had some disappointing losses at Frost, no question about it. But in particular, there were some nice plays. Obviously, you can look at senior night tonight, honoring some pretty good players. That led them to NCAA tournaments and whatnot. So I think that's obviously something you have to highlight for the women. Anything else in particular? Some event play, a win?
I would say the Pollock play from a couple games ago where she saved it on the out-of-bounds line and threw it one-handed to Michelson. That was pretty cool.
What game was that? That was a doubleheader game. I think it was Southern Utah?
Southern Utah, yeah.
Yeah, that was a neat play, especially coming from Pollock, who kind of struggled this year and for a moment looked like she could make plays like that. So that was exciting. For the men, I think really got off to a great start in the conference with a couple losses to start off the year. Nonetheless, even though they lost that game, I felt like the NDSU game was, you had great crowd, you had a great basketball game, you had tons of highlights. You had Trayvon Wright from the Bison with all of those leaping dunks, and just kind of mystified the arena for a night. Then you can also look like another game they lost was Oakland, because Oakland's a really good team. You had an NBA prospect and Keith Benson playing. So even though you lost that game, I think you'd be happy to see a team like that come into the arena. They also had Nevada, who they beat, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. So some good programs, some good games. They won and lost some, but it was all good. You also had a litany of Dale Moss highlights. In particular, last week's dunk against IUPUI. I'm sorry with the names. That inbounds dunk was electric.
That game had enough highlights for the
That game had tons of highlights. And I think to the scene on Saturday, with the senior night and with Nagy getting kind of emotional, that's such a rare thing for him to be visibly that way. Now, he's not saying he's not an emotional guy, but at that particular moment it was visible and everybody could see it. I thought that was a good scene. What else is there? You had Sargent getting honored too with the 3-point career leader now, and so really looking back, I think really overall you saw some really good basketball being played.
And the men beat second place IPFW too. So that was kind of a highlight too. So
yeah,
a good season of basketball, certainly entertaining.
Yeah, all in all, pretty entertaining, absolutely. And it was the highest attendance, at least for the men, since making the Division I turn. So it was good year, and we look forward to next year. To all the events, we'll be live blogging in the Summit League tournament, and wrestling. So still be looking out for us. We will see you around.